Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. At this point, it doesn't really matter what you think of Jey Uso winning the 2025 Royal Rumble, because as wrestling fans, we should just accept that it's happening and enjoy the ride. And there's so much to enjoy about Jey Uso and the ride he's on and potentially what's going to happen at WrestleMania, because wrestling is driven by emotion. Wrestling is driven by storytelling. And if you watched Jey Uso on the February 3rd edition of Monday Night Raw on Netflix, all you saw was real and raw emotion. It was one of the most powerful things that I've ever seen. If you're trying to be a professional wrestler at the very top of your game, it takes so much work. There's blood, there's sweat, there's tears, there's rental cars, the planes, to this, to that, to long nights, to not very much money, to not very much recognition, to this, to that, to so many different setbacks and obstacles and just all of these things that nobody sees behind the scenes. The doubts, the am I good enough? Holy shit, will I ever get the recognition I deserve? Why isn't this working? Why aren't the fans behind me? Why can't I listen to more emotion? Am I actually good enough to do this? Am I good enough on the mic? Do I look good enough? Is my gear good enough? Do all of these things even matter? And you think about these things all of the time in your head as a professional wrestler, and then you may never get that crowning achievement. You may never get that stamp of approval that says, yes, all of your work, here it is, it's paying off, right? But right now we're seeing Jey Uso elicit emotion, real emotion from the fans. They are totally 100% behind him as a professional wrestler, as a main eventer, as someone who can go into WrestleMania and win the big one. It's very similar to Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan earning the fans, earning that popularity, earning the ability to get pushed to the superstardom that Jey Uso is getting pushed to. And we might see him win whoever he faces, probably going to be Gunther, at WrestleMania. And that's a crowning achievement. That's a stamp of approval. That's bigger than winning the 2025 Royal Rumble. But if you see him in the middle of the ring on the February 3rd edition of Monday Night Raw, you see emotion. You see a man tearing up. You see a man just listening to the fans chant, "You deserve it," saying, "Oh, fucking all this work, man. All this work led to this point right here, and I'm so thankful. I'm so proud, and it's unbelievable." Again, wrestling is driven by emotion. It's driven by storytelling. Wrestling is a real life mythology driven by the hero's journey. What happens on the hero's journey? There's setbacks, there's challenges, there's obstacles. You have to keep getting back up and keep getting back up and keep getting back up. And the main part of the hero's journey is to slay the dragon. Whatever dragon that might be in your life, in my life, wrestling mirrors life. And we all have to go on that hero's journey of trying to slay the dragon. But the dragon is going to knock you down and knock you down and knock you down. And how many times can you get back up? And Jey Uso keeps getting back up. And now he's in the center of the ring, displaying this emotion that's as real as it can be. So don't tell me that fucking wrestling is fake. It's real. Everything that happens is real. Right? The hours we travel, the roads we go on, the matches we have, the things we do, the love we have for it, the doubts we have, all of it is real, as real, as real. And you saw that being displayed with Jey Uso in the middle of the ring. And so again, it doesn't matter what you think about him. If you watch that segment and you're like, yeah, this guy fucking really cares about what he's doing and has so much love for this thing, I'm now bought in to what's happening with Jey Uso. That's what should happen. We accept that. We love that. And we're fucking pumped to see Jey Uso on this journey, in his hero's journey, potentially winning the big one at WrestleMania against Gunther. And so I just wanted to share that because it's very, very important. And we have to recognize that. And we have to recognize those things, especially in professional wrestlers that drive them to want to be the best in the world. We're driven by emotion. We're driven by narrative, whether it's in the ring, out of the ring, in real life, it doesn't matter. And it's very important to acknowledge the fact that when we show that emotion and we bear our truth to the world, that we accept that fact. And that's beautiful, that's vulnerable, and that's courage, and that's strength. And I love to see that. And so then we move on to to the next topic, and that's AJ Styles. I was like so fucking excited about Alexa Bliss returning to at the Royal Rumble that I sort of barely mentioned AJ Styles, which is huge that he's coming back to the WWE, not to the WWE, but returning from injury. Again, he made his WWE debut in 2016 on one of the best Rumble surprise debuts of all time. I did a video about that if you want to check it out. But again, I just got so caught up in Jey Uso winning, in the stupid decision to have Charlotte Flair win, in Alexa Bliss returning, that in my video, I just didn't really talk about AJ Styles much. I barely mentioned it, but AJ Styles has returned and he's on the Raw brand, and I'm pumped to see him have some very, very good matches, potentially with Penta, potentially with Braun Breaker, potentially with Ludwig Kaiser. AJ Styles potentially being also in the Elimination Chamber. But I think what's also interesting with AJ Styles is where he really cut his teeth, where he really became a star, is again with TNA Wrestling, but a little more with New Japan Wrestling. And you really associate TNA Wrestling with AJ Styles. So now there's this partnership. So there's a potential for AJ Styles to go back to TNA, maybe have a title shot, maybe have an appearance on TNA Wrestling, something like that. I think that would be really cool. And I also think AJ Styles would absolutely love that. And so what's also interesting about TNA is what's happening with Joe Hendry right now. Joe Hendry is really trying to get a match with John Cena. Everyone wants a match with John Cena. It could be the biggest thing that ever happens to your career, and the buzz you get from having a match with John Cena is outrageous. And so Joe Hendry obviously was in the Royal Rumble and had a conversation with John Cena backstage, and the conversation was very interesting, and Joe Hendry's trying to talk about this match that he wants to have with John, and John basically says, he gives him a challenge. If you garner enough interest for this match between you and I'll make it happen. And so now Joe Hendry has taken that on as a challenge to try to gain as much attention and interest in this match so the TNA World Champion can wrestle the greatest of all time, John Cena. And then we're potentially going to see, AJ Styles back in WWE or back in TNA as well. He's returned to WWE. He's on the Raw brand, but we could potentially see that TNA return as well. And so pumped that AJ Styles is back. Just wanted to mention it. Again, I got so caught up that Alexa Bliss returned that I forgot about the other big return, which was AJ Styles. And then you go on to the last bit of this video, which is what ended Monday Night Raw, the February 3rd edition of Monday Night Raw. I mean, a video ago, I just got done talking about how much we should respect and love Kevin Owens, and then all of a sudden he returns at the end of Monday Night Raw after having a brutal ladder match with Cody Rhodes and decides, I'm going to pile drive my so-called best friend, Sami Zayn. Now, why, you ask, he did this? Before Kevin Owens comes out and says why he did this, let me give you my take on it. So Sami Zayn was there. He was there at the ladder match, didn't intervene, didn't throw a punch, didn't kick anyone, but he was there. He was there watching Kevin Owens get his ass kicked, watching Kevin Owens get Alabama slammed through a ladder, watching Kevin Owens be head down, ass up in the middle of a ladder while Cody Rhodes climbed the ladder to grab both straps. He was watching, and Kevin Owens saw that because you saw Sami Zayn consoling him after the match where Kevin Owens had blood over his face. He was messed up. It looks like he has a black eye, like he's just in bad shape. And he knew Sami Zayn was there and probably wondering, why didn't you help me? Yes, you were there to console me, but you didn't help me win. You just saw me lose, and that pissed Kevin Owens off. So after CM Punk beat Sami Zayn to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, Kevin Owens attacks Sami Zayn. Not because he hates him, because he's pissed off that he didn't help him win the championship. He didn't help him climb the ladder. He just stood there and watched him get his ass beat. So instead of talking to him about it, he decides to beat him from behind and then pile drive him into oblivion like he did Randy Orton. So now we have He's pile driven Cody Rhodes, injured him for a couple weeks. We haven't seen Randy Orton in ages. Now we don't know what's going to happen with Sami Zayn. I don't even know what's going on. Potentially now we're going to see a Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton match. Randy Orton might be out of that match. It just might be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn feuding into that match. But we did see CM Punk win the qualifying match to get into the Elimination Chamber. We already know unselfish John Cena, best for business, main eventing. That's best for business is already Elimination Chamber. So we have CM Punk and John Cena in the Elimination Chamber, and we'll have more qualifying matches come up. But on the women's side, I'm a bit shocked because now Io Sky has lost the Rumble. Io Sky has lost the qualifying match, so she can't win. She didn't win the Rumble. She's not going into the Chamber. So now I don't know what's going to happen with her and her title hopes, but we saw Liv Morgan get in there. And so there's a lot going on with the women's division. I thought the whole Charlotte Flair segment was atrocious, but it is what it is. She's, whatever. Doesn't matter. It was a bad segment. Hopefully she has a great match with Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. And then Rhea Ripley, again, I predicted her to have a triple threat match with Io Sky and Liv Morgan, but that potentially might not happen if Io Sky is not in the Elimination Chamber. If if Liv Morgan starts to feud with Alexa Bliss, there's a lot of moving parts here and so many cool directions you can go down for the women's division. But I mean, you got to think like what's going to happen to Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, all this stuff moving forward, the Elimination Chamber, holy cow. But the coolest part I've seen in a while, the best segment I've seen in a while, is just a pure raw emotion from Jey Uso and the fans, and that whole connection is just a beautiful part of professional wrestling. It's the essence of professional wrestling, and it's the thing that we want to see all the time as fans and as wrestlers. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Comment everything possible, predictions, reactions, things you want me to talk about, all of that good stuff. But please subscribe, share, like, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.